This is lesson 4.4 on standard form, part 2. So today we're going to learn how to write review how to write equations of vertical and horizontal lines, how to complete an equation in standard form, and we'll look at a word problem in standard form. So for example 3, it says to write an equation of a horizontal or vertical line. So part A says to write the equation of a vertical line passing through the point 4, 1. So remember that a vertical line goes up and down like that, and its slope is undefined, and the equation is x equals a number. And I want to emphasize again that the number that you get comes from the coordinate. So if the coordinate's x value is 4, then the equation of the line that passes through 4, 1 would be x equals 4. So if you were to graph this, for example, let's draw an x and y axis, and if you were to plot the point 4, 1, the equation would go vertical through that point and through x equals 4 on the x-axis. All right, so that's what that line would look like. Part B says to write the equation of a horizontal line passing through the point 2, -4. So for a horizontal line, it goes from side to side, or it's parallel to the x-axis. Its slope is 0, and the equation is y equals a number, whatever is in the y-coordinate, or whatever it passes through on the y-axis. So for this one, if you were to plot the point to -4, right there, then the horizontal line would go through that point, and it would pass through -4 on the y-axis, and the y-coordinate is -4, such as y equals -4. So really, you don't need to draw these graphs to figure out what the equation is. You just have to remember that vertical is x equals, horizontal is y equals, and it's whatever the coordinate value is, right? So for part C, it says to write an equation of a line with a slope of 0, so that means it's a horizontal line passing through the point -8, -9. Okay, so what would the equation be? Right, horizontal is y equals, so it'd be y equals -9. For this one, write an equation of a line with an undefined slope, so that would be vertical, passing through the point 13, -5. Okay, so what would be that equation? Well, undefined slope is vertical, so that means x equals whatever the x value is, which is 13 in this case. All right, so let's look at a new example. We don't need to do this. All right, we'll go to example 4. So to complete an equation in standard form, find the missing coefficient in the equation of the line shown. So here you see that you have this equation, ax plus 3y equals 2. The objective of this problem is to figure out what the a would be. Okay, so I'm going to just write down the equation that we have, and then notice that the other piece of information we have is another point on the line, which is -1, 0. So in order to figure out what a is, the only way to do that, well, we have 3 missing pieces here, a, x, and y. But we can substitute in -1 and 0 for x and y, and then solve for a. So it's kind of like when you solve for b and y equals mx plus b, you plug in the point and the slope. So here, we're just going to plug in the point that we know. So we'll rewrite this equation as a, and then times, substitute x with -1, and plus 3 times 0 equals 2. Now the nice part about the point that they gave us here is that the 3 times 0, that term is going to cancel. Okay, if it didn't, then you would just subtract that, whatever that is, you would just subtract it over from the 2. Right, so a times -1 is just -1a, or -a. So you have -a equals 2. So in order to get a by itself completely, you'd have to divide or multiply both sides by -1. So then 2 divided by -1 would be -2. So then that would be the missing coefficient, and then you would rewrite the equation as -2x plus 3y equals 2. Now that you know what a is. All right, number 2, find the missing coefficient in line with the equation. Okay, so now we're finding B that passes through this point. All right, so once again, let's plug in what you know. So you know -4, and then you know the x is -1 plus b, the y is 1, equals 7. Okay, -4 times -1 is +4. B times 1 is just b. Okay, so to solve for b, you just subtract the 4 over. So b is equal to 3. So once you find the missing coefficient, you rewrite the equation with 3 replacing b. So you have -4x plus 3y equals 7. All right, let's do a word problem now. So the word problem is going to be a word problem where your A or B is missing. So your class is taking a trip to the public library. You can travel in small or large vans. So those are your two variables. A small van holds 8 people and a large van holds 12 people. So this is like the number of people per van, number of people per van. Your class can fit 15 small vans and 2 large vans. So this right here, X and Y represent the number of vans. So this information right here is telling you that one of the points can be 15, 2, 15 small, 2 large. That's one of the possible combinations. So that is going to be important because that's kind of like how they told us here that -1, 1 is one of the points. Then that's going to help us find what's missing. Write an equation in standard form that models the possible combinations of small vans and large vans that your class could fill. All right, so here we know that we can hold 8 people per small van, so we'll do 8x, and then 12 people per large van, so 12y equals, now we don't know the total amount of people, which would represent C. So that is total people. So in order to figure out the total amount of people, we can plug in our point 15.2 in for x and y and solve for C. So this is one, so we've solved for A, we've solved for B, and now here's an example where we would have to solve for C. So we'll do 8 times 15 plus 12 times 2 equals C. And you would just kind of type this in your calculator. 8 times 12 plus 12, 8 times 15 plus 12 times 2 should give you 144. So then your final equation would be 8x plus 12y equals 144. All right, so in order to graph, in part B it wants us to graph, we would need to find the intercepts. So remember, if you're finding the intercepts in standard form, you would set, if you're finding the x-intercept, you'd set y equal to 0 and then divide by 8. So 144 divided by 8 would be 18. And then for the y, you would set the x equal to 0, so then 144 divided by 12 would be 12. So your x and y intercept are 18 and 12. So what I would do is consider setting up my graph. I wonder if it would work in 2. So what if we did like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So that would be, oh, well, actually, the 12 is the y. So we'll keep going, 12, 14, 16, 18. Okay, so there's your x-intercept, and then we would do 12 on the y-axis. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So we'll plot that intercept, and then use a segment to connect your intercepts. And then one thing that's important too when you're making your own graph is to put labels on the x and y axis. So the label for the x-axis would be number of small vans. Label on the y-axis would be number of large vans. And remember, sorry, that should just say large. Remember that the intercepts mean the number of vans. So this would be the number of small vans, 18, when you don't have any large vans. And 12 would be the number of large vans if you didn't have any small vans. So that's just one other possible combination. Okay, so the other combinations would just be like where the points line up and we won't worry about that question. All right, so that is it for today. I wonder if there's some kind of exit ticket in this slide. Nope. So you'll get some more practice when you come into class on Monday. All right, have a great day.